Hi, I'm Dana McNeill, and there's a right way and a wrong way to intermittent fast. And I'm going to share with you today just a few of the common mistakes that people make all the time. Today, I want to just spend a few minutes with you about common mistakes that are made during fasting. And these are my top 13. So, number one, choosing processed foods because labels make them seem healthy. Listen, labels are deceptive. We can get caught up in a lot of deception. Speaking of, I just feel like we are living in a very deceptive time and in general. And so we have to be cautious. You know, buyer beware used to be the tagline back in the day, and that's never been more true than it is today. So be not deceived by labels. Normally, I'm up early just like you are. And so if I don't get in bed at a certain time, I don't get my 8 hours. And it really shows up on me because I really, really need my 8 hours of sleep. And so do you. It's not just me. Women need 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night. If you're not sleeping well, I want you to put that in here, that my sleep is always disrupted. I'm not sleeping enough. I'm not getting to bed in time. I wake up during the night. Number three, not setting a goal. When you don't have a goal in mind that's really pushing and pressing you forward, then you will just say, well, it's okay if I go up or down. It's okay if I'm not really sticking to the full plan. I know I don't get the same results when I don't, but it's okay. And we let ourselves off the hook. So setting a goal is so very important. Not planning out our meals. This doesn't mean you have to spend your whole day Sunday food prepping. I don't do that. I've never done that. I can't do that. I choose to not do that. I do have an idea when I go to the grocery store what we are having all week. And for me to have it written down just kind of gives me a reference point to go back to. Do I sometimes change it up? Yes, I sure do, because, freedom and flexibility, I believe in that too. So if I have salmon on the menu for sometime in the week, but I want to have it on Tuesday instead of Thursday, I surely can switch it right on up. But what this also does prompt me to do is if I have meat in the freezer, then I can put it in the refrigerator the day before and let it start thawing out so that I'm not like, oh God, here I am. Nothing's thawed out today. I guess I'm going to have to go order a pizza and I can get a cauliflower crusted and I'll make a salad and I'll make it all better. Well, no, that might be fine on a once in a while thing, but if you're doing that on a regular basis because you're failing to plan out your week, then that can become very problematic. Number five, not getting enough to eat during the eating window. We have to eat during our eating window. This is why if you're getting to the place where it's like, I just really don't want to eat that much, then shorten your window, because as soon as you start eating, your body then needs you to eat. It needs you to provide it with fuel. And if it's not getting the fuel that it needs, then guess what's happening? It's going to start pulling from your muscle because you're not in a fasting state and you're not burning fat. First of all, eat foods that are satiating: meats, protein, fats, and good complex carbs like your vegetables. Those will all stick with you longer. You heard as a kid, that won't stick to your ribs, or eat this will stick to your ribs. That's that satiating part about what we eat. It will provide fuel longer so you don't have to eat as much. But like I told you before, those quick, simple carbs, it's like throwing tissue paper on a fire. It's like, boop, there's my energy. It's all gone. It's burned up. It's gone. And I need more. And that's why we get in these carb craving cycles, because once we start eating those things, we need more, because we're out of fuel. Okay, so just don't let yourself get that place. If that is your situation and you feel like I'm just not eating enough, I just really don't feel like eating, I can't come up with enough food, I don't have enough time in my day, whatever it is, comment with that below too. The next thing, number 7, not getting enough protein. You need to be getting at least 75 to 125 grams of protein every day regardless. You're somewhere in that range. Now, you will need more protein if you're more active. You will need more protein if you are having a longer window. If your window is 8 hours or 6 hours, you definitely need a little bit more protein. If your window is 4 hours or 2 hours, you don't need as much protein that day because you're in ketosis. But otherwise, you need that protein. And, especially if you're concerned about losing muscle mass, you need that protein. If you have carrying around extra weight, you need even more protein than someone who weighs less. Number 8, eating a diet full of carbs and natural sugar. We kind of touched on that as far as, how quickly that burns up. But if you are eating too many carbs and you're eating even a lot of natural sugar, even fruits are carbs. Remember, meat and fat are not carbs. Everything else is carbs. Everything. So, your apple, your berries, if you're trying to lose weight, I highly suggest you don't eat bananas and pineapple and all those really high concentrate of sugar in those fruits. Just be conscientious of that. But even when you're eating all natural, you can't just fill up all day with fruit. You're going to want fruit, and it's going to burn relatively quickly, not as fast as potato chips, but it's going to burn a lot quicker. And so then you're going to need more. They really will add up, not just in carbs, but in calories. So you'll be getting in way more calories than you really need. This is not about calories in, calories out. Please hear me on that. It's not. But it is a variable. It is something that goes into the mix. So it's about getting the right amount of protein, the right amount of carbs, the right amount of calories, the right amount of fat, the right amount of eating window, all of those things. And that's why I give you the suggestions that I do, because when you follow those, you're going to stay in those guidelines. Number 9, not keeping your fasting hours switched up enough. If every day like clockwork, you're starting your fast at 12 o'clock, and every day like clockwork, you're in it at 8 o'clock, and that's your 8 hours, and it is set in stone, and that is what you're going to do because you are a rule person and you are a schedule person, and that is what you set your mind to, and that is the rigidity that you're working in. Your body's going to get acclimated to that, and it's going to start, your metabolism's going to start settling into that. So you want to give yourself a little bit more switching up to kind of keep everything a little bit dysregulated just a tad so that your body's staying on guard. All right, so my son used to take karate. We used to go watch him at karate class and watch him spar. Well, you can't just say, I'm going to sit right here until this time somebody's going to kick me. No, when you're sparring, you don't know when they're going to kick or not. You don't know when you've got a block. You might have to throw up that block and throw up this. And so you've got to be on guard and ready. Your body needs that too. Your body needs to be on guard and ready. And if you're keeping it kind of off kilter just a little bit, just kind of on guard, then it's going to be much more powerful than if it's like, I don't need to do anything right now because I know she ain't going to eat nothing until 12 o'clock. So I'm just right here and she's going to keep on eating till this, and she's going to eat this every day. It's breaking her fast, and this every day, and this time, and this every day. So we start getting like clockwork, and our body does not react as well with weight loss. The next thing is not eating only whole foods. Now, I say only whole foods. Protein powder is not a whole food. It's a processed food. But 95% of the time, you should be eating whole food. And, one time a day, have protein powder, or twice a day, or whatever. If you're not eating meat, you're going to have more protein powder or some other source of protein, perhaps that's maybe a little bit processed. It's okay to do that, but know why you're doing that, okay? And realize that protein powder's not whole food. It's also processed. You can get better qualities of protein. If you're following a vegetarian diet, then of course the plant-based protein is the one you want to go with. It's less protein in that one. It's 20 grams versus 30. We have to do what we need to do and we feel convicted to do and believe is the right thing for us to do. But I'm trying to help you navigate through that. Whole foods, that means food that came right out of the butcher shop. Now, that is also processed. Otherwise, whole food would be, we would go out in the field, shoot it, clean it, cook it all ourselves. That is truly whole food, where we catch it wild and we do all of that. That's not going to be the case. I don't think any of y'all are out there shooting your own food and cleaning it and eating it in the field that day when you clean it and cook it all up over an open fire. That is not happening. So even our meat is processed, but it should be very minimally processed, okay? So anyway, just whole whole food eating. But I get labels from you guys and saying, is this okay? Is this okay? Is this okay? And I'm like, it is okay. If it fits, it is processed. If it's okay with you to make this choice to eat the processed food, then this is probably less processed than this. But processed food is processed food. So try to stay away from that as much as possible. When you go into your grocery store, you hit the produce, you hit the meat, you hit the dairy, grab your butter and your eggs and maybe a little cheese, and you're out. Don't even go in those middle sections. Number 11, not drinking enough water. If you're not getting enough water, and y'all, this is something I struggle with. I've told y'all before, I'm not a big drinker. And so I have to just sit and guzzle, guzzle, guzzle. Well, when I'm on the move, I can't do that because I'm having to stop at the bathroom. I know y'all can relate because some of you have told me this. That is an issue sometimes, and it can be a little bit of a stumbling block, but we have to get our water in. Our organs cannot function. Our organs cannot do their job if we're not providing them with enough water. So half of your body weight in water every day. If you're not doing that, you're not getting enough, or any of these other things that I've mentioned, please put that in your comments. Number 12, not getting in mindful exercise each day. Getting in your exercise every day is so important. I don't care if it's last thing at night or first thing in the morning or somewhere in between, you got to get it in. Number 13, this is the last one, staying stressed about all the mistakes and all the things to avoid and do right. So do not let stress take over you, and do not stress over these things. It's all about just us continuing to walk in this journey and get better and better and better and better, and just stay mindful of them and come up with solutions for things that are not working. That's why I want you to put in the comments the things that are not working. Then I know you're taking accountability for that. And you're like, look, I'm acknowledging this. We can't fix what we don't acknowledge, right? So put it in here, and then we can begin to correct those things and be a little bit more mindful, and maybe make a few tweaks that's going to help us along in those areas. Hey, I'd love to connect with you. I would really, really love to hear about your personal journey, your story, give you some insight about intermittent fasting and how it can totally switch everything around for you and improve all of your health markers, help you drop weight, inches, all of those things, and doing it all the right way so that we can be our very healthiest best. That's what I'm here to help you do. My website, danamcneill.com, and learn more there. There's also a free giveaway. And hey, I appreciate you for watching. See you next time.